Dear listener, welcome to Tuesday on the Quarter Hour. Today, an update in Jackie O's legal battle with ARN. Joining me to chat through is my lovely co-host from the Media Tarts podcast. And hey, do yourself a favour, as Molly would have said, jump on Media Tarts at every Friday afternoon. Natasha Lee, the editor of Media Week. Hello, lovely.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. This story you've broken about Jackie and ARN, there's more twists and turns in this story. So where's it up to now?
Oh, isn't it? It is really like watching a Days of Our Lives episode because you have to keep checking every day to see if there have been any new filings. And I've got this saved as a bookmark. That's how often I'm checking it. And so this happened on Friday. And as you know, we all know Fridays, it's not a very big day in terms of news usually. And it sort of snuck in there. But now we've been, allowed to digest it over the weekend. So what's happened is ARN have sharpened their defense against Jackie O and her federal court claim. Now they're arguing that Jackie O repudiated her own contract, and that's a very legal term. And the lovely Michael Burns explained what that meant to me. So it's really just she kind of, cancelled her own contract in a way by refusing to keep working with Carl Sandilands and insisting on a different time slot, right? So there's an amended defense that they have filed in the federal court. They are rejecting claims they unlawfully terminated Henderson's agreement, which was Jackie's big thing, right? She said that there was the bullying claim, and then she sent out that letter, and that letter was said to be written by herself and her manager at the time, Gemma O'Neill, and it said that she didn't want to keep working with Kyle, or she couldn't keep working with Kyle at the time, and then right after that, her contract was terminated, and then she came out and said, no, that's not what I wanted, that's not what I meant. So ARN are basically saying, well, she actually did it herself. So the broadcasters are arguing that they were entitled to terminate the contract after receiving correspondence from Henderson's lawyers stating that she cannot continue to work with Mr. Sandilands. Now, this is kind of where it gets interesting because I haven't gone into the nitty-gritty of this. This is from a legal friend of mine, so please feel free to correct me or to tell me where I am wrong in this. But apparently in Gemma O'Neill's affidavit, she said that Jackie wanted to work on a show in another time slot, right? So the claim is now coming to light, at least from ARN's point of view, that letter that Jackie put forward saying that she could no longer work with Kyle Sandilands was not so much filing sort of an anti-bullying complaint. She was doing that in order to go and work at that other time slot, right? So the whole thing is this legal defense of saying, a fair work claim, and that there were bullying allegations. Those claims were not made in good faith. Therefore, those claims should not stand up in court.
Yeah, and I think if there's a few complexities in this, it's not really, I think a legal term would be prima facie. Like on face value, you're kind of looking at it, depending on who you are, from a lot of different lenses. Because my memory is that Jackie's original letter to ARN basically saying, look, I can't work with him anymore, which was the essence of it. Well, no matter what the legal words were, it's basically saying I can't work with Kyle. She was relying on a clause in her contract which basically said she did not have to work with Kyle, and they'd treated them as two separate parties. Kyle's agreement was with, or his company was with ARN. Jackie had a separate services agreement with ARN. And so even though, of course, everyone goes, well, it's the Kyle and Jackie O show, and some people might go, well, if you're not on the show with Kyle, is there a show anymore? But from a contractual point of view, I always thought it was that Jackie had the right to say that she didn't have to work on breakfast with Kyle anymore. Is that not the case?
I would assume so. And I mean, aside from that, I really just can't believe that at no point in time did her lawyers and ARN lawyers get together and discuss this and actually go, what did you actually mean by that? Or what are you hoping to achieve by this? Is there any way that we can perhaps fix this issue? Can we sit and talk this out? Rather, it was just, okay, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, goodbye. Like, this is what seems so bizarre to me, that it was this letter she sent, and then they're like, okay, bye.
I can't imagine that a deal of this size, to the degree of this size, and we all know what it's like when you go and apply for a credit card or get a mortgage. Deal was worth $100 million to each of them. That way back when they were drafting contracts and lawyers were sending them to each other from ARN to Jackie and vice versa, that there wouldn't have been some kind of, okay, let's play this scenario out. What happens if Jackie wakes up one day and just decides she doesn't want to work with Kyle anymore? And there wouldn't be correspondence or something to that effect, or there at least would have been a meeting. And I guess that's what we're going to see play out in court. We don't know that bit yet, because this is effectively ARN just amending its defense of Jackie's claim. So it feels bizarre to me that it would come down to, well, hang on, that letter that you sent didn't say what it meant, so that's not right.
Also, she's filed her reply to this, but it hasn't been made public yet. So we need to just wait for that too. But yeah, to your point, I find that's what I find completely insane.
Yeah, and look, I think with this thing too, I mean, it's easy to jump at shadows. That's exactly the reason we're having a trial, isn't it? That all these parties are going to come together and they're going to thrash it out in court. And probably the reason, I'm guessing, why Jackie's not settling, because she's obviously got a defense to ARN's claim. ARN have a defense to her claim. That's the whole reason you go to court, to have the lawyers argue it out and see what a judge thinks. So, I mean, we've got to wait till, I think, is it October for that?
It is. I think it's October 12th or 22nd. What I find interesting is that, I mean, gosh, Jackie's really holding her nerve.
Absolutely. And also, how dignified's her silence? She's saying nothing. There's no leaks. There's no briefing the media. It's basically just, I'll let the process play out. I think even the paparazzi look like they've stopped following her around, potentially. I don't even know if she's in the country at the moment. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. But it just feels like the Kyle way of grandstanding at the courthouse has led him to get a quick settlement. And Jackie's process of just sticking to the facts and putting everything in writing, and ARN then having to discuss or defend that. That's what's really interesting to me, is not just the actual court battle, but how the theatrics of this whole story are playing out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the difference in the way that they have both, I guess, attacked this situation really shows, I guess, the audience and the media how different their personalities actually are, and the way that they clearly approach life, and they clearly approach, decision making and so forth, and their outlook. Listen to me. I sound like I'm some sort of a psychologist or whatever. Heck, I've been to enough. Maybe I picked up the lingo, but what I'm saying is that it really showed, like, if you are working with somebody who is approaching something so momentous and so intensely sort of anxiety sort of riddled one way, and you do it a completely different way, then you can see how eventually those personalities are just going to combust.
Yeah, I think it's really showing the tail of the end of that show. They had a great time together, but now it's all over, and it's all over. It's absolutely all over. Hey, Tash, thank you for coming on. MediaWeek.com.au. You've had a glow up on the MediaWeek site, by the way, which I love. A little bit of pink lippy, a little. I'm not going to say Media Tarts inspired, but I do think it's matching luggage between our little brand Media Tarts and what you're doing at Media Week.
I do love a bit of pink. I love a bit of red. And a glow up's always good. We got a refresh. Let's call it a refresh. Is it? We just went on a refreshing holiday.
Yeah, we just, had a little break and come back looking all glowed up and fabulous. Yeah, that's right. MediaWeek.com.au. Natasha Lee is the editor, and every Friday she joins me for Media Tarts, where we sit at the bar and talk about the media issues of the week. So, Tash, I'll see you on Friday.
See you on Friday.